Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video, we're going to be reviewing the Doctor Strange movie. I should start out this video by saying I am not a big Doctor Strange fan. He's fine, but he's never really done it for me. I've never been a huge fan of the whole magical side of the Marvel universe. I've liked a lot of the characters. I really like Dormammu as a character, and I like some of the other ones, but it's just never been my thing. Now keep that in mind as I go through it's technically a review, but it's more like a discussion, that kind of thing. But I will give you like a final verdict type deal if you're new to these videos. So keep that in mind. I'm not a huge Doctor Strange fan. I'm a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I feel like there have been some duds. Age of Ultron. But I was really optimistic for this video, for this movie, and it delivered in a big way. I noticed before I went in to see the movie that it was getting basically great scores across the board. Critics, viewers, everybody was saying it was really good. So my first inclination was that's awesome, it's going to be really good. My second thought was maybe they're saying it's really good because it's a big departure from the superhero movies that we've been seeing, in which case I'm not sure it's going to be for me. We'll see. And I have to say it was in a good way. Very good. Not just that it was a big departure, because it really wasn't. It didn't feel out of place. It didn't feel strange. It felt I didn't plan on making any puns, but I did. Oh well. Anyway, so let's just break it down. The casting, a lot of controversy over the casting for this movie when it first happened, and I thought all of the actors and actresses fit their roles very well. It didn't bother me that they weren't necessarily all perfectly accurate. I thought they were good the way they were. It felt right in the movie. They all had good chemistry when they needed to. I liked the casting. I thought the casting was fine. No problems at all. I don't think anybody should have a problem with it after seeing the movie. Maybe on principle you could come up with an argument, but I don't see it personally. I think it was fine. So casting was good. Let's talk about the writing. This movie, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it didn't have the most dialogue. Obviously, they had conversations and stuff, but it wasn't an incredibly deep story. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about, which is odd because there should have been a whole lot to talk about with the whole magic aspect of everything. They didn't do a whole lot of explaining of things. It was kind of just presented in a way that explained itself. Now, maybe if I watch it again, I'll pick up on different things and it won't seem that way, but for me, it felt very nuanced in a good way. I don't know if you guys are going to get this reference, but if you are from the era of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, you know what I'm talking about if I reference Super Metroid, and that it didn't tell you what to do, didn't tell you what was happening. It just presented it in a way that you were able to figure it out, and you felt like you were at home right from the start within that universe. Same thing happened with this. I understood what was going on, even though they weren't saying, here's what happens, here's what you do, here's whatever. They didn't really do that so much. Even his progress from going from normal to Doctor Strange, as we know him, they didn't actually show a lot of that. They showed some of it, of course, but it was a very quick, kind of rocky montage type thing where he was training and stuff. It didn't last very long, which I think was good. I like the way they handled that. The movie didn't take that much time being an origin movie. It almost didn't even feel like an origin film. It kind of just it got him there really quick, and then it went from there, which I thought was a good thing. So I should mention, going forward from here, there will be spoilers. Technically spoilers. However, like I said, this film, there's no like huge plot twists or anything, and if you've been on the internet at all, you probably are going to know already the things I'm talking about just from memes and stuff. I guess technically I was spoiled because of these people making these comments and quotes and memes and stuff, but it doesn't affect the film really, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. But I'm not going to be filtering anything out. Okay, so we get introduced to Stephen Strange as the surgeon, as the arrogant butthole kind of guy. He has an accident. Of course, it's his fault, but he blames other people for the things, and he hurts his hands, and he can't be a doctor anymore. He wants to fix his hand so that he can go back to being what he was. He finds out he can do this by talking to these magic people, so he goes to the magic people, and they turn him into Doctor Strange. That's the general gist of the build-up to him being Doctor Strange. And then we find out, concurrently, as this is happening to him, bad guy magic person decides to be a bad guy. He was a good guy, becomes a bad guy because he's going to work for Dormammu, which is the overarching bad guy, which has almost no role in the movie until the very end, which is fine, but that's how it works. So then through his training, he's learning more about the magic arts, and he's learning about the bad guy a little bit, not too much. And then it culminates in him being very good at what he does in the magic and running into the bad guy. They have some fights and stuff. It progresses from there. Good guys fighting the bad guys. Eventually, he goes to the Dormammu's realm. Let's put it that way. And because I can't think of the actual term, is it dark? Dark? I can't think of the term. It's one of those days. Anyway, he goes to see Dormammu. He tricks him. He uses his super smart brain and his magical powers to trick Dormammu into submission, essentially. And that's the end of the movie. So, like I said, not an incredibly deep movie. Obviously, there was a lot of stuff throughout, but that's the general gist of it. I don't fault it for that. I think it had just enough substance to be good. It compelled the viewer to stay interested, and it moved the action along in an realistic and an organic way. So I didn't have any problems with that. So though a little bit shallow, I guess, the story was fine. So that was okay. The writing was good, though very little dialogue. Everything was okay. Lots of comedy mixed in, as is common for the Marvel Legends, for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But it always felt right. It didn't feel forced. It felt very natural. It felt good. And then lots of times it wasn't a huge, like the theater wasn't packed, but there was a few people in there, and most of the audience was laughing out loud actually at some of the jokes. So that was pretty good. I liked that. So let's talk about the action, because that's what most of this movie is. I mean, realistically speaking, they even marketed it as being the first real use of 3D technology for a movie in terms of watching it with the glasses, which I didn't because I still don't buy it. But the action in this movie was really good. There was martial arts, there was magic, there was all kinds of choreography, there was special effects. Everything that they could have packed into these action sequences, they did. It was something else. It was highly impressive. Most of it, anyway. All of the, like you guys saw in the commercials, like the cities folding in on themselves and all the swirly things from their hands and all the magic stuff, looked really good. The only time the CGI looked weird to me and not great is when an actual human person, like it would pan back and they'd move around quickly or jump around or do something like that. That looked very fake. Not like it didn't break the movie or anything, but we're here to talk about it, so let's talk about it. It happened. It didn't look great. It was only like that. It was over though, so no big deal. But the special effects for all the city folding in and the buildings and everything moving around, all of the swirlies and crisscrosses and everything, all the magic stuff, phenomenal. It looked incredibly good. They definitely had a huge budget for this movie, or did a really good job with a little budget. I don't know. I liked it a whole bunch. That was great. The special effects were fantastic. Really good. I do want to mention, though, that it had a bit of the Man of Steel feel to it in that they did the same thing a bunch. So at a certain point, you're kind of like, is this going to keep going? Is this all they're going to do? Like having the cities fold in and that kind of thing. But it was never to the point where you got bored of it. Like in Man of Steel, where every 5 seconds a building was getting blown up by somebody getting thrown through it. It wasn't too repetitive. So I think that was okay. I heard some people say that. It didn't bother me. I thought it was fine. So that was good. So, does it fit into the Marvel Universe? I think it fits nicely. I mean, they directly reference other things. We know that's coming together anyway at some point. But it has to feel right. And I think they did a really good job of bringing the magical side of things into this same reality as this little bit... practical is not a great word for it, but this practical side where we have the Avengers and now we have all of the sorcerers, and it just feels right. It fit. I don't know how they did it. I was very skeptical of this, but they did it. It was very good. So basically all the components that needed to be good were good, and I guess that's why it worked out. You just have directors that are able to do this and writers that are able to do this, and then actors that can carry the roles, and all of those things worked. It all worked very well. None of it felt weird. None of it felt forced. They didn't jam too much stuff in. They had just enough stuff. I liked it. Oh, the astral projection was very nice too. I mean, that's a kind of special effect that can look cheesy very easily, like the kind of whole ghost thing. You see that on like Supernatural and stuff, and obviously it's fine for a CW show, but it's hard to make that kind of thing look good, and they nailed it. All of it looked really good. The acting was good. I'm just going to keep rambling, I guess, because I really enjoyed the movie. But let me wrap this up by saying this. If you're a fan of Doctor Strange as a character, you're going to love this movie. And if you're not a Doctor Strange fan but like the whole cinematic universe, then you're still going to really like the movie. That's where I fit in. I enjoyed it a whole bunch. I think you guys will too if you haven't seen it. If you have, let me know in the comment section below. I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about it. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.